Bravo. Very, very beautiful. I feel like I'm in a transcendental afternoon entirely. I think my nightmares tonight will be of an entirely different quality than they have been before. It's very beautiful, and you manage a lot of the sometimes awkward Mendelssohn realization and passage work very, very well. Yes, we really, really do. There are really just a few little things I'd like to touch on. One is that you do a beautiful job of changing color and changing atmosphere in this, which is really great. The number of times we have the main theme, and it's in so many different states of mind, yes, and you manage this very well. But occasionally, when you want to make something expressive, you do it, I shouldn't say occasionally, you do it a lot by taking a little time. Yes, you've heard this before, haven't you? Yeah, it's become a particular theme of mine this summer. Because the interesting thing is, we always want to place something that we want to make beautiful. I understand this. But you can still achieve the placement effect without having to slow down beforehand, yes? It just depends on how we practice it. So it's the same as what I was discussing in relation to a subito piano in Beethoven. You often practice it where you go directly into a forte at the end of a crescendo. Then you practice it where you just keep the crescendo going and then you leave out the chord. And then you practice playing the chord quietly and then you join the two together. So it's a question of kind of like a mosaic, putting these effects together. For example, when you change to the pianissimo at this moment, it's a fantastic color change, but it should emerge and surprise us, as opposed to be something that we know is on its way. I think it loses a little of its dramatic content when this happens. So I'd like to talk a little bit about some of those transitions. The other thing as well is, like in both Beethovens we've heard, a lot of this, certainly in the thematic area in the beginning, is trying to have a chordal melody to some degree, or a melody shape within several chords. And that's quite difficult, obviously, at the keyboard, because we have to literally pick up our hands and move from one chord to the other. So we want to talk a little bit about the particular voicing in the chords that you might want to follow, so that it doesn't sound too blocky, in a sense, you know? And then that way we will be able to hear the line coming through on top, yes? And the very last thing really is, you have excellent fingerwork, which is great. I would like to hear, in some cases, a little bit more of the shape of certain parts of the passage work, yes? It's interesting. If it's in, I was going to say, if it's in an etude, quite often we don't worry so much about that. But even in an etude, we do. But a lot of the time in certainly classical and early romantic work, we need to hear the shape, even in the transition passages, or as the color is being developed. It's usually not just a straight scale going somewhere. There's usually some sort of a loop or inverted arpeggios, and there's an effect in this somehow that I think it's too easy at the piano to play single notes and forget about the fact that there might be 4 notes in one bow if it was in the strings, yes? So, can you begin once more for me? And we'll just try to experiment with a few of these things, yes?
Okay.
So from here. Good. Oh, I'm sorry. So that very first note, what do you imagine? What if you, this is my favorite question, if you were a film director, let's say your last name was Spielberg, and you had a scene in a movie, and this opening note was in that scene, what kind of scene would it be? Would it be daytime or nighttime? Twilight. Wow. Okay. Very good. I'm getting already the divisions. I like it. So it's twilight. Am I in the city or am I out in some sort of nature?
I'd say a coast.
A coast.
Over like body of water.
Over a body of water. Am I alone or am I surrounded by people?
Probably alone.
Probably alone. Is it cloudy or can you see the stars?
cloudy.
A little cloudy. And then is it warm or cold? Or somewhere in between?
I would go with on the warmer side.
On the warmer side. Okay. So we are overlooking a body of water. It's a lone twilight. It's a little cloudy and it's a little warm. Now, there's a lot to come out of one note. But this is the note that's going to set the scene, yes? So we need a color in this note. Probably not doing, yeah? It needs to sort of emanate, it needs to emerge. So you actually have to probably put your finger on the note and play in with your wrist and arm. And in a sense, it's kind of a tune, yes? As opposed to, yeah? Okay, so let's try this. Now, how did that feel? Was it what you wanted?
No.
Okay, excellent. Right, try it again. So the thing was, you went into the note, you did everything right, and then the note was too fast. Yes, yeah. So the note is going to descend very slowly, but all the way to the bottom. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. That first note was pretty good. Yeah. Do it one more time, and then the thumb with the A, float your weight, because this sound has to come out, and we have to realize, oh, here are the loops in the sound, rather than dot, 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 because I have excellent arpeggios, yes? Okay, good, yeah. Loved your first note. I loved your first note. I don't know if Spielberg loved your first note, but I loved your first note. Now, in this, when we try to do the arpeggio, this is really as if it is not a single note arpeggio, but imagine that's the gesture. So over the arpeggio, that's the most dangerous part, right? So we don't want to start at the position of the white note, because then we'll be down, we'll be accenting this. You actually want to imagine, there's a different position quite often for the black notes, if you're playing all the black notes, and then all the white notes. It's just a tiny little difference. You're a little closer here. Many times when people play in the black notes, they lift because the black notes are higher than the white notes. But you actually then change the relationship of the hand to the keyboard, yeah? So we're just talking about that and this. But when you have a white note, two black notes, and then another white note, and you're moving in and out, you have to plan for the avoidance of the accents when we drop down to the white level, yes? So in some ways, you want to keep yourself at somewhere in between both. So it's not a down, up, but yeah. And then of course, as you move through the different registers, this is much heavier, yes? So even though I don't normally advocate the use of the una corda, I wouldn't do it for the very first note, but for the very first arpeggio, I might, yes? Okay, so try and see if we can float the weight with a good relationship of position between the black and the white notes. And so much has happened then over the course, but it is one idea that has grown from the ground and nothing, yes? So this imagination, you have a good imagination. Now, when we talk about where the pulse is felt, quite often we talk about harmonic rhythm, yes? And I like the fact that you did not stop when the harmony changed, but the length of the wave was a little over 2 bars here, 2 bars here, and then suddenly it is 1 bar at a time. So we need to have a little bit more shape coming over and back. It adds to the sense of drama and intention here, yes? So let's just hear that difference when suddenly the harmonic rhythm starts to be a little bit shorter, yes? Yeah. Bravo, sing this note a bit more, yes, that very first note there.
Okay.
But the arm motion here creates an incredible sense of the shape of all of this. You have a fantastic arrival up here. I feel that you're almost too rushed coming down, yes? You have a little bit more time, I think, yes? Yes. Now, is this a beginning, this chord, or is it an ending, or is it both?
Not sure.
It would be a beginning, yes. Does it disappear into the sound and then continue? Let's try it both ways. Can you try it as if it is a start to the new idea? So just ta-team. Now, it doesn't even need to be louder, you know, but it's just the intention of it. Okay, this time, can we try yeah? So it dissolves. Yeah, it's interesting. It has a different feel to it, you know. And then the question is, what is the color that you want, obviously, in this moment, right? But that's a whole other conversation. But in this, the passage work, we want to feel a little bit of the shape. And then in between the phrases, we always have to ask ourselves, does the phrase end? Does the phrase carry over? Or does the phrase end and start on the same place? This is called an elision, yes? So, yeah. So it's just an interesting concept. Right, let's talk a little bit about these chordal melodies, yes? This is obviously in 2/4. It's quite rhythmic. Ting, dong, da, ting, da, dee, da, 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 dee, da, da. It could sound like a really bad drinking song if we put it that way, you know? So we always have to look for ways to shape this as if there were no bar lines, yeah?
Okay.
Now, we're not saying ignore the meter, but we're saying don't necessarily feel chopped by the bar lines. I wonder if we could imagine da-da-dee-da-yum connected, and then yes, so we see a slight bit of a kind of a connection there, and then beginning the new idea, yes? Mm-hmm. So we have yeah, so let's hear this. Okay, not bad. Just good. This opening was very good. Don't be afraid to really lean into that sforzando, yeah? Good. Now we do have portato. So when pianists we see portato, we just think kind of, you know, I don't want to make too much sound there, but actually you need a little bit of connection with the string. Dom, 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 yes? So it's a little bit of a longer staccato. Team, bom, bom. That feeling of space after those notes, yeah? Can you just play that for me? Team, bom, bom, bom. Okay, good. Now, let's not change the pedal quite so soon, yes? Just so it's okay to be a little bit more liquidy in the sound, but that your arms are doing this motion, yeah? Bravo. And then that last chord, that you that it is very passive, yes? So when I'm doing this, I'm really just playing it with my wrist. Then I lift my wrist away, yes? And then the sound just disappears, yeah? Okay. Just try that one more time for me from lean, go away. Good. Now, beautiful, but the last chord was too active, yes? It needs to disappear, like smoke. You ever see a smoke in a campfire, and you can see it for a while, and then it's gone. The sound must disappear like this, yes? Okay? That was good, though. I actually liked that more, yes? Okay. Did you not like that?
I liked it.
You did?
Yeah.
How are you going to answer anything different in a moment like this? Okay, right. And now, different character, different sound. Go. that's okay. Yes, but now, soft does not mean muffled, yes? So it has to be a little transparent, but sing, yes? Okay, good. I'm wondering which of these notes are the most important? Deem, bom. Nothing else matters, yes? Just play the E sharp and the C sharp for me. Good. Now the E sharp is a bit low, so it's a bit too fat, yes? A bit more articulation. Bravo, yeah? And then when you play, a little tension and then let go of the tension, even while you hold the note. Because if you have, we hear this in the sound, yes? Okay? Yes. Did you hear the air in that? Yeah. Bravo. So now, add the other notes, but the other notes barely not even present, yes? Not bad, not bad. One more time. I'm hearing a little too much middle C sharp. Okay, good. And less here. So you want to tilt? Yeah. Okay, good. This is a little rushed because you're anticipating the motion, yes? Okay. So don't let one gesture push you into another, yes? The chord was just delicious, yes? Okay, right, try this again. Bravo. Can I hear a little bit more? Alto, yeah. Okay, so this is exactly the same, isn't it, as the first one? So one big pet peeve of mine, you know this expression, yes, is never to play anything exactly the same way twice, yes? So voice something else, show us something interesting that we didn't hear the first time in it, yes? Okay? All right, go for it. Good. Relax. Bravo. And now different. Bravo. So this was beautiful, just a stunning colour. This is the end of that, yes? And then it's literally like the French horns. Never loud, yes? But then no stopping before this note, yes? Okay, so just from boom, boom, boom. One long line. Okay, good. So what you do here, this is very beautiful, very, very beautiful. Each one of these higher points, so we have team, yes? So C sharp, A, and then we have F sharp, D. Interesting connections between those two. But place each with a little bit more weight, so over the long line we actually have a shape, yes? And then here, crescendo but not stridendo, yeah? Make it active in the so we have a lot of con brio. It gives us the excitement, but we don't have to rush the pulse. And then no pause here, yeah? Boom, boom, boom. Sing just a little. Different. No stopping. Okay, good. So now this is very, very good. I would be inclined to sing the first note, the appoggiatura, much more and feel the tension in it. Tia, tia, which is very different from the bum bum, which is quite quick in the left hand, yes? Okay. Just let's have that bar. Tia, yeah. Tia. Bravo, yeah. And that has a little bit more tension in it. This is too active. Down, 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 not out. yes? Okay? Tia, 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 tia. Bravo. So just show me the left-hand color of this chord, yes? Don't be afraid to sing that. Okay, good. And what about the shape? Yes. And also this is an ending. And then is a new beginning. So it's not yes, finish it first. And you can stretch a little bit. Good. Drop, drop. Okay, good. Now, you need to be really, really clean in your pedaling here. Yes, it's too muddy, really, for the changes of character that happen so fast. This was fantastic. Much, much better. And when you have those repeated chords, just drop. Don't pull out of the keyboard, yes? Okay? Good. It's a little too short. A little more liquid in the pedal. Good. Drop your shoulder. And this is it's a bit like lazy staccato. Yes. No, your staccato's too good. Stay in the bed of the key, yes? Open up the sound when you need to. Good. Now from the back. Good. Now, I would be inclined, as I do this, then this. A bit of a stretching when you get to the fortissimo, yes? Don't forget this is a fantasy. So you have the opportunity to take some rubato when you need to, yes? Yeah? Okay, it was good. Just let's go from coming into the second time of the so. Yes, but you know what? Don't dim so early. Literally the last note. Yes, and you begin this as if it is a beginning, yes? But it emerges from the other Frisian sound. So imagine there's no bar line at all there, yeah? This, don't rush. Tiam, tiam, tiam. Make it a little bit awkward. Ta-dam, tiam, ta-dam, yes? Arm, arm, arm. Less individual notes, just shape. Okay, good. So this whole section is kind of crazy because you have to be less articulate, yes, and play around with the sound that is in the top half of the key. And what's interesting here is shape and color. The shape is going to come from your arm, either circling or doing the loops that come from the repeated arpeggios, yes. And then, in the beginning of all of this, you want to keep it very quiet, very subtle changes, almost minimalistic, yes. And wait and wait and wait and wait. You're only at mezzo forte here, yeah? And then still crescendoing at the last minute into a forte, okay? Let's just have from there, and let's see if we can just, as the last thing that we do, just try to shape this entire section into the crescendo that you really want. Still. Arm, elbow, elbow, elbow. Bravo. much better. And suddenly I heard a line that I had never heard before, yes? It's very, very beautiful. Again, when you see this, you like to rush, yes? I think you can always have a bit of stridendo, but if you do it so that it loses a little bit of the excitement, it doesn't really work so well, yes? So I would drop your arms, don't do a subito piano and then grow here. You've waited long enough, yes? Can you go from there? From here, more okay, so your right hand is doing a great yadam, but I need the left hand being bom bom, not just the, yes? Feel the distance between the two octave notes there, yeah? Just from there. Yadam, dadam, dun dun dun. Yes, yes, better. And all the way. And now from your whole back. Steady da 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 da. Bravo, bravo. I mean, the sound, when you get there, the sound is really exciting because it hasn't been too much too soon, I think, yes? Here, imagine the line, yes? It's a bit separate as you get there. I like the character, but the line needs to continue. The very last thing, let's go from here, and when you get back to this, imagine still these little shapes that we had before, yes? Ta-yum, and then ta-ya-da-dum, yes? Just from there. Yes, but why drop the sound? The sound only drops here, yeah? One more time. Yes. And then we're back. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, yeah. So it's the transitions, the lines coming over, the way we develop our crescendo, and then the imagination in the sound. Yes? Yeah. Okay, very well done.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay.